Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to dig into a really powerful idea. What if that moment your mind just breaks isn't actually an end? What if it's the very beginning of building real, true inner strength? Let's dive in. So this is the idea that kicks everything off. And it's a big one. It takes what might be the most terrifying moment of your life and completely reframes it. It's not an ending. It's a starting line. A brutal, and clarifying, but a necessary beginning. So what does that moment actually feel like? Well, to get a handle on it, let's look at the story of a high-powered corporate executive. It's a perfect example of a pretty universal experience, that moment when our internal systems just get pushed way past their limits. I want you to picture it. You are at the absolute top of your game. You're leading teams, you're hitting every target, you're the one who has it all together. The pressure, it's immense, of course, but you're handling it. Or you think you are. And then, just like that, it happens. Maybe it's a phone call. Maybe it's a tiny setback. And boom, the whole illusion shatters. Your own body feels like it's betraying you. Your hands start shaking. And the world you know just kind of dissolves into this fog of panic and noise. And here's the thing, to really get, this isn't about some kind of personal failure. Not at all. It's biology. It's psychology. This is the moment your body and your brain tell you, with no room for argument, hey, you're not a machine, you're human, and you have limits. Okay, so when that storm hits, what can you actually do right then and there? Here's this incredibly simple, practical tool. And this isn't about fixing everything at once. No way. It's just about finding an anchor. 3 slow breaths that tells your nervous system to calm down. Feel your feet on the floor. That gets you back in your body. Then you sweep your senses outward. It literally pulls your focus out of that internal chaos and back to right here, right now. So to really understand why a moment like that happens, we've got to look at the science, because it's not some big mystery, it's just biology. You see, your brain has this built-in alarm system, and when you're under chronic stress, that system can get stuck in the on position. At the very heart of all this is something called the HPA axis. The easiest way to think about it is as your body's command center for stress. When it thinks there's a threat, and that could be a tiger in the bushes or just another stressful email, it floods your system with cortisol to get you ready to fight or run. Now, that's great for short-term survival, but it's not so great when it never, ever shuts off. And this process, it basically starts a civil war inside your brain. You've got your amygdala, that's the alarm, and it becomes super sensitive, so it starts screaming danger at everything. But at the same time, your prefrontal cortex, the calm, rational planner, well, it gets weakened by all that cortisol. So what's the result? You're stuck in this reactive survival mode, and it becomes almost impossible to think clearly or make good decisions. And you know what this points to? One of the most powerful and accessible tools we have to fight back: sleep. It is not a luxury. It is a non-negotiable biological repair cycle. Getting consistent, good quality sleep is one of the absolute best ways to hit the reset button on that HPA axis and tell your overactive amygdala that it's okay, it's safe to stand down. Okay, so that's the science behind the problem. But this is where the story completely flips. This is where we go from breakdown to breakthrough. We're now moving into the scientific reason for hope. And honestly, it's a total game changer. Let me just ask you this, because it's a belief a lot of us have deep down. Do you think that your personality, your habits, your knee-jerk reactions are pretty much set in stone once you hit a certain age? Well, the science on this is crystal clear. That is a complete and total myth. Your brain is not a static block of concrete. It's dynamic, it's alive, and it is literally designed to change and adapt throughout your entire life. And the magic word here, the reason this is all possible, is neuroplasticity. To put it really simply, it just means that whatever you practice, your brain gets better at. If you constantly practice panic, you're literally strengthening the panic pathways. But, and this is the important part, if you consistently practice calm, you strengthen the calm pathways. You are the architect of your own brain. I mean, just think about that for a second. That's huge, right? If our brains can actually change, then the next obvious question is, how? And the answer is surprisingly simple. It's not about some intense, heroic effort. It's all about small, consistent, repeatable actions. So to guide this whole practice, there's this brilliant framework called reset. First, you just notice what you're feeling, but without judging it. Then you engage with something that makes you feel safe, like that grounding routine we talked about. You stabilize with simple things like your daily routine, You empower yourself with tiny little wins, and finally you thrive by making these new habits just a normal part of your life. And this is my favorite part, because this is where it gets so easy to start. Just look at this list. We're not talking about a 2-hour meditation retreat. We're talking about one deliberate breath, a 1-minute pause. These are micro habits, actions that are so small you really can't talk yourself out of doing them. And these are the real building blocks of lasting change. And all of this kind of builds up to one final, really crucial idea. It's a total shift in how we think about this stuff. Mental health isn't some destination you finally arrive at one day. It's a skill you practice. It's a garden you have to tend to day in and day out. Look, if there's only one thing you remember from all of this, let it be this right here. Forget the giant New Year's resolutions to never get stressed again. That's not going to work. Instead, focus on a tiny promise, a small, repeatable change you can actually do. Because that consistency, that's the engine of change in your brain. And that just leaves us with this final question, a question for you. This isn't just about understanding the ideas. It's about actually doing something. So what's it going to be? One deliberate breath? That 3-minute grounding routine before you go to sleep? The power isn't in the size of the action. It's in the decision to begin. So what is the one small promise you will make to yourself tonight?